Okay, hi everyone. This is Wayne with TwinFlameMen 101, coming at you with a special installment with everything that's going on with our November shift. And part of being a community of twins is we got a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different insights, and we compare notes, we learn from each other, we grow from each other. And one of my twin sisters in the community, Pam, contacted me and says, Wayne, you've got to hear this. I got a really great epiphany and of what's going on, where we're at right now with people coming into union or not. So, Pam, this is your epiphany. I want you to go ahead and explain it. We'll have a little conversation as we kind of expound on it for people. So hit us with what you got.
Okay, so, I've talked to a whole bunch of people in our support group, and I've been looking for patterns. It's something that I like to do. And something that I noticed is that a lot of twins that I've talked to, a lot of twins based in the feminine, who are more on the feminine side, are at a crossroads. At this crossroads, I realized that they still have a lot to work on, but they really want to be with their twin. And things were happening where it didn't seem to fit with what I expected to happen. So I was trying to go with it and figure it out. And I realized that we're at a place where a veil has been lifted and our higher self can see what's going on with the other twin. And we're evaluating. We're seeing like, okay, what does this person still need to work on in their life to better themselves as a person? What do they have to work on something financially? Do they have to work on fear? Do they have to work on healing something about themselves? And then they have a conversation amongst themselves as two higher selves, as two souls, emerged into one, but, a conversation to figure out, can this be something that we work on together and move closer together? Or is this something that we need to work on separately? Yeah, I feel like it's at a place where it's not necessarily something that whether we know we're ready or not, but our soul is evaluating and seeing whether or not we're ready. And if we're not, it's just a matter of what do we need to work on to get there.
Okay, Pam, let me back up a little bit with that, because we're actually talking to two audiences here. We're going to talk to one, the community that we're part of that is approaching 1,000 members in a very short time. We're going at about 1,000 members right now we're approaching, and we're going at about 100 people a week. All these twins are coming together to support each other. And we're also talking to people that are coming in from the cold, and just like I was just a few short months ago, trying to figure out what the heck is going on in my life. Why does this situation not fit normal rules of society and relationships and love? Why was everything so different? So we're talking to these people that don't know anything, and we're introducing the concept of, so Wayne and his twin, mentally, human physical brain is trying to figure out what happened. Everything was so great, and then there was this pulling apart. So we're introducing this concept that there is another level of consciousness above this, of a soul consciousness, or some people say a higher self. So Wayne's soul or higher self and Wayne's twin, we're not going to name her name, they're having a communication. Am I right?
That's what I'm sensing. Just because when I would speak to my twin sisters and brothers that were going through this, they were just baffled. So their actual mind and understanding of it just didn't seem to make sense. It didn't make logical sense of why it was that everything seemed to be going well, and then all of a sudden, this time, their twin pushed them away. Instead of their twin running away, their twin pushed them away. And it was just very odd. It just didn't make sense to me. And I'm trying to think like, well, what was the reason why they pushed him away, number one? And number two, it made me believe that there has to be something bigger than our mental capacity, bigger than our mind, that must be in play, because if it were up to us, we wouldn't do that.
Right. I'm totally with you. I have to admit that not even 6 months ago, some of the terminology and discussion we're having now would have been way beyond my capacity to understand. I am now aware of things on a spiritual level that I was not before. I don't want to get too much into this, but I don't want to ignore it yet, because this is also going to be for our community, our family, our soul family that's going to be listening to this. And that, for the most part, this is not exclusive, but for the most part, a lot of the divine feminine, and that's not necessarily gender, there's feminine males, as far as the energy of the soul. They've been waiting, they've been working, they've been trying to improve themselves. A lot of times what we're working on is spiritual issues, emotional issues, relationship issues, and we're going, why doesn't our twin see the same way? But we're also trying to understand from a physical realm. So our higher selves, or our souls, kind of probably came to this agreement that we can't be together until we get it right in the 3D. And those things we've got to get right. So maybe our twin might be working on job issues, financial issues, security issues, family issues. Meanwhile, the other twin is working on spiritual issues, trust issues, healing emotional wound issues. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. And the other thing that I've realized is that it may not very well be that it's that split apart, where it's like, one person, or so much that it's wrong timing, but it's just whether, can this be something that I need to do on my own, or will my twin being in my life distract me from getting to that goal? There have been times in my life where being in a relationship has really benefited me to heal and become a better person, separate from my twin, just in a different relationship. And there were other times where being independent and being alone, I was best able to focus and organize and just get everything done. So that was another aspect that came to me. It was like, well, what type of issue is this? And it could very well be different for different people. It could very well be that, for me, I need to be separate to work on emotional issues, but another twin may be separate to work on financial issues, and they both may identify with being more feminine. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not always the issue that causes them to be separate, or the working through of that issue, because you don't necessarily have to be at a perfect point, but it's just having the conversation of, okay, will you need space to figure this out? Do I need to give you space to work this through, and I'll work on something else? Or is this something that if we come together, we can still focus on?
And that conversation is going on at the spiritual soul level or higher self level. That agreement is whether or not they can be together. So I would tend to agree with you in that union is bliss. I mean, I experienced bliss with my twin for nearly 3 years before we had to have a time apart or a break. And it forced me to deal with some things that I would not have dealt with had I had her in my life presently every day. And I believe she's doing the same thing as well. So if I understand you correctly, if your issues are small, like they're not huge traumas, things like major trust or, total job change or major family issues or huge emotional wounds from sexual issues or something, if they're small things, maybe those people are in periodic contact, but they're not all the way together. Would you agree with them? If they're small, they're like close to union, but just not quite?
I never looked at it that way, but that's a very good point. After hearing you say that, I think that could very well be a big part of it, but that can also be on an individual level where some twins, like let's say take the same issue, some twins who may seem like they have a small sexual issue may work out better working that out independently, and some of them may work out better if they work it out with their twin and have a healing with their twin. So that's why I feel more or less like it needs to be a conversation, because your higher self knows you and your twin the best and will know what's best for both of you.
I totally agree. So it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Now, I know because we are in a community, we are constantly touching base. We're not out there in the cold trying to figure this thing out all on our own and trying to figure out why is our twin acting, kind of unusual compared to what they used to. I'm seeing a trend where a lot of them are at the point of going, okay, I'm just done with this. I've got to turn around. I've got to step away. I need a break. And it's going along with a lot of a big shift in energies. But we're also seeing a lot of signs of people getting ready to come together in union. So based on what we were saying before we started this call, it's almost like we're at a crossroads at this point now in mid-November of 2016. Would you agree we're at a crossroads?
Definitely. I'm believing more and more and seeing the patterns and seeing similarities that some things, that it is a crossroads, that it is a point of, where do we go from here? And forward or inward, that's kind of the end of the crossroad decision.
I love that. Forward or inward. Forward means together. Inward means we got to still work on some stuff. So if maybe at this crossroads, if we're not ready, it seems to me like we start another cycle of inward therapy, whether it be dealing with issues in the physical realm, the emotional realm, or the spiritual realm, or whichever one's applicable. Does that sound right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no one wants to delay heaven on earth or bliss, but if you get it right, who doesn't want to spend a little extra time getting Thanksgiving dinner just right?
Especially when it's coming up next week, yeah.
So that kind of brings up kind of the analogy that I had as we were talking about this is, and I think in a lot of movie analogies, and if people are getting to know me, they don't realize this. I'm going to sound cheesy to some people, but to me, as you work on an issue and you fall short, you don't get it right, and sometimes you have to repeat it, this feels like Groundhog Day. In that Bill Murray movie, I don't remember what year it came out, and he wanted to get that girl, and it just wasn't working. And every day he tried something different, and it was like he hit the wall, and he hit the wall, and he hit the wall, and he kept on working. And some of the things he had to learn didn't even seem like they were relevant to the goal of getting the girl, but it seemed like he became a much better human being. Did you kind of get that as the theme from the movie?
Oh, my gosh. That's the perfect analogy. It really is because, sometimes I feel like I'm living in an extended Groundhog Day. I'm in the sequel, and I wonder what would happen if we looked into the girl he was trying to get a guest perspective. What does she get up to that point? You only see the movie from one perspective. What's going on in the Groundhog Day of everyone else? And it was very frustrating for him in the beginning. He kind of got very just like, why am I still working on this? I thought I already got this. I should have the girl by now. Just getting aggravated and wanting to give up. And then he had fun with it. Then he started to really have fun with it. He started to really enjoy life. And it was when he started to enjoy life that I really felt that he was getting closer.
Totally.
He started to pull for it.
Yeah, he started enjoying his journey, and even the little things like what was it? Doing ice sculpture played into having a successful day.
Yeah.
And buying insurance from Phil and piano lessons.
Yeah, and that's a lot what my journey's been like. There have been these moments where I'm like, what do I need to learn from this? Or I would think like, okay, things, before I knew what a twin flame was, and this was all new to me, and I would think like, okay, I don't get this whole spiritual language. All I know is that I really like this person, and I know that they like me, and it's not working out, and it's not making sense. And I would say, okay, what's happening? What's blocking me right now? And I remember thinking that, and I said, I remember that there was this relationship that I haven't really healed. And wouldn't you know, like within days I would get a call from that person, and I'm like, well, there's my opportunity. It's coming right to me. And different things would come to me, just like in Groundhog Day. You're like, why is he all like all these things coming to him to be healed, coming to him to change. And it's really remarkable.
I totally agree. So kind of like what you alluded to is that not only is one person, like you have a twin, I have a twin, we want to be in union with our twins. It is the best love, the best relationship I've ever experienced in my life. I'm sure it has been for you too. But
definitely,
it's possible that they're doing their version of Groundhog Day, that they're dealing with their side of the issues, correct?
Oh yes. And, you know, I didn't believe it at first. And that was part of my journey myself, is having that doubt and believing people who didn't really understand, and not having an amazing twin family to speak to and say, wait, do you experience this too? Yeah, I experienced it too. And then having these reaffirmations when, you know, my twin and I, we didn't speak for 5 years after we were in a relationship together, and then we decided we needed to move on. And both of us kind of still had a yearning for each other. And the day I emailed him. I was getting messages to email him. I'm like, oh, maybe I should email him. And I'm like, no. And then one day it just came to me, I have to email him today. It was a really, really weird feeling. And I was kind of like weirded out by it. And I emailed him, and I'm going back and forth with my roommate, like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Worst case scenario, everything like that. And sure enough, I email him. I get an email response within 5 minutes. And he's like, you just freaked me the F out. You just freaked me out. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I was literally just thinking of you. No, I wasn't just thinking of you. I was talking about you. Apparently, he was telling a group of his friends that, you know, one of his friends went through a bad breakup, and he was basically telling his friends that not all women are evil. You know, he used to date this girl named Pam, and she's a good woman, and there are good women out there. And it was 5 years. We weren't in any contact. We weren't in any, we didn't have any social media connections, any mutual friends. And he had just got over a breakup himself. But for him to go back 5 years to think about me, really made me realize, yeah, they're still thinking about me. They're still going through this turmoil themselves. And it just, it gave me that grounding. It gave me that reassurance that what I felt in my gut about him really caring about me as much as I care about him was true. And I've had other reaffirmations like that as well.
Awesome. Pam, I have to put in a plug for you. We've known each other since about the second week of September, roughly?
Feels like forever ago, but I guess so.
It does. I mean, on this journey, time definitely does not fit standard rules of what I've experienced in my life. But I mean, according to the calendar, it's been a short period of time, but it has felt like we've known each other for years now. And I have to say, I am amazed at the growth that I've seen in you. And
bless you. Thank you so much.
I know that you are growing, and I know that you are becoming who you're supposed to be. And I know that your twin is doing his work to become what he's supposed to be, and I hope that it's the right time for you guys. And of course, most of us were in the same boat. I've been working on myself, and I know my twin's doing something on her side. I don't know what, but we're working on it. So, have we explored this enough? Is there anything we need to clarify for people to understand that we have an opportunity for union, but if it's not happening, that it's our higher selves, our souls that are kind of coming in agreement and going, not yet?
The only thing I wanted to kind of like say, well, first of all, thank you so much for saying that. That really meant a lot to me. And you've grown exponentially. I'm really proud of just the leadership role you've taken. And it's amazing, and it's insightful. And I'm really inspired by you. So thank you so much for saying that about me. It really meant a lot to me. as well. It's just been amazing just this in this short period of time to just feel so connected to this group.
This is, I'll tell you what, this has become my family. I have relatives out there, but this is my family now. And we connected, and there was no awkwardness to it whatsoever. I mean, I said in my last video that I put out that I've noticed that most, maybe not everyone, but most people that are twins have like a history of feeling a little odd. Like maybe they either excelled without trying, or they were the weirdo, or they felt like the black sheep, but they just didn't fit in whatever circle they came from. But I'll tell you what, no matter how I've always felt, I immediately felt at home in this family, this community. It's home. I mean, and it's got to be because it's a soul thing.
You know, it was really effortless. And yes, I needed to feel like I belonged to a tribe. And I've tried in many different ways. But I thought when I'm a teacher, and when I became a teacher and I went through all these classes and we would say, oh, I like traveling. Oh, me too. Oh, I like cooking. Oh, me too. And it just, I was trying to feel the vibe, and I still didn't feel like I fit in. And it just, I just feel like it's effortless. I feel like I can be completely open and honest. And it's similar to the way it's effortless with my twin. I just, I remember having a conversation with him and saying, I'm so sorry. I feel like I just said too much. And he's like, no, tell me more. I want to hear more. And I feel like the group is very similar to that. It's very much a effortless, just, I'm sorry, I keep saying the word over and over again, but just this instant love, instant support.
That's funny you say that, because months back when I didn't understand I was a twin and I was trying to figure out what was going on with me and my twin, or I would just call her my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, why do I want her back? I actually wrote a statement down. It's actually in front of me, in front of my laptop. It says, our relationship flowed and grew effortlessly. So I used that was what it was. It was effortlessly. And the thing with a twin is that it feels like home. There's no better way to describe that. And relationship doesn't do it justice, but that connection with you and your twin is home. There's nothing else in the world like that. Connection is home. And the next best thing is this tribe, is this community of being at home. Like I feel at home with you. Now, my twin is the home, and this community is my second home. So,
yeah, it's almost like, I just had a vision about it. Like, it's almost like, you have a house and we live on the same street. We're neighbors. It's our community. It's a home community. It's like we have this niche where it's like where we all feel safe and comfortable in this love bubble. We go home to our immediate home with our twin, but we can run in the neighborhood and say what's up to all of our, neighbors and friends and loved ones that are in our community. And
and we're so diverse. I mean, we
goodness,
all over the world,
with
different cultures, religious backgrounds, ages,
and political affiliation.
Oh. I know, crazy, right?
There was a moment where I would sit there and I would go, in the beginning, in a place of doubt, like, wait a second, I don't resonate with that. Meaning that doesn't fit with me. Does that mean I'm not really a twin? And it's like, no, all is accepted. All is, appropriate, because there's many walks of life in the world. So therefore, it would make sense that there would be many people who would resonate, and it would make sense to them that they were a twin.
I do want to wrap up the thought of community in a minute. I'm going to touch on that in the next video, which I'm going to be interviewing someone else. But what would you say is the underlying theme of our community?
Humor.
We do have moments of humor. It does raise our vibration, but
no, I just, you know, just the core of love. I love and acceptance, and because it's just, you know, we never like, you know, and like you had said before, not everyone felt accepted with friends or in the world. Well, I also never really felt accepted with my immediate family. You know, my family didn't feel warm and welcoming to me. And that might not be true to everybody.
No,
but,
I'm in that. That's with you. Me too.
And I mean, even though it's true to both of us, it was just nice to almost, you know, even through the internet and through the telephone and with some people in person, and hopefully we'll all be able to meet in person one day, but having that phone call to come home to when you've had a bad day, having that person to talk to when you're not sure about something, or having that person to share great news with and having them just be as happy as you are, there's nothing that can replace that. I mean, there's something that can be better than that with my twin, but there's nothing that can replace that feeling of just acceptance.
Totally agree. Definitely my twin basically tapped an endless wellspring of love that flowed from me, and this tribe and this community is the benefit of that. I get to share the love with them, and I've never been in a situation where to say I love you with someone, it comes so easily, because we all come from this background of this amazing connection that's probably short of God's love, the highest form of love that I'm aware of.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Love used to be a 4-letter word for me because love meant someone walking away, or love meant someone not really meaning it. I mean, you know, there were moments where I felt love and I gave love, but not without feeling like I had to work for it or they had to work for it, and just for it to come out of my mouth so freely that I don't even have to stop it. It's great.
Twins understand twins, don't we?
Oh, yeah. We speak the same language.
Amen.
Yeah.
So going back to the original point of the call, I mean, I do love the community. I can't praise it enough. But the original point of the call was that kind of like that Groundhog Day theme. Are you getting ready to pass the test of the day? You know, in the movie, it was Bill Murray getting the girl, but maybe it's the girl getting the guy too. Have you learned your lessons? And if you haven't learned your lessons, are you're just going to repeat it and keep growing until you get it? I mean, is there anything we wanted to add to clarify to that?
Yeah, like there, you know, and I know I've heard Kristin touch upon this and some others. There has been a lot of anxiety about this test, and I finally came to a knowing place that there's no need for anxiety. You're always growing. You're always improving. And either it's improving inward or forward with your twin. Whatever obstacle it may be, you'll find out. You know, you'll find out whether it's going to be with them in spirit, with them as your cheerleader in the background, or with them beside you.
I love it. Yeah, we got some really good leaders. We got we got a variety of leaders. This tribe is continually growing. It's growing so much we actually have separate chat rooms that are springing up and separate websites that are springing up and different teachers teaching different specialties, but we're all pulling together for the same tribe, and I just love that. So, there's a lot of issues, everything from physical, financial, emotional, sexual, spiritual, cultural, whatever the issue is, wounds. I myself, you know, I was very foreign to the thought of past life issues, and I haven't even explored that yet. So I'm not going to jump in here and endorse that because I haven't experienced it, but I'm not going to poo-poo on it either because some people swear up and down it made all the difference in their life. So whatever it is, I encourage anyone listening to this, whether you're already part of the community or whether you're hearing this for the first time and you're looking at getting in. I hated hearing this when I first came across this, is do your work. Oh, I hated that phrase. You know, if you're not with your twin, do your work. And it's like, what work? What do I got to do? And basically, to me, the way I understand it is become the best you.
Oh, yeah.
When you become the best you that you're supposed to be, you're going to have the best connection, not only on earth, but in heaven too. Would you agree?
I agree. And the key is, with our community, you're not alone. You're not alone. You know, whether everyone would love for their twin to be there, but like you said earlier, there are just some things that you work on better independently. Yeah. And you feel better independently. But independent doesn't necessarily mean alone. And, right. You know, reach out to someone in the community, you know, reach out to a group or a person that resonates with you. That's the amazing thing about this community. Everyone in our community that I've reached out to has come to me with open arms, and I've come to them with open arms. And it's been a reciprocal love of, I help you now, and there's going to be a way that you're going to want to help me later, and you're going to be guided to help me later. And, you know, like, we just help each other. It's just, so you don't have to work alone.
Okay, Pam, thank you so much. I think we touched on anything. If anyone has any further comments that they would like to have clarified, one is in the comment section underneath the video, you know, please put your remarks, something constructive. And if you're not in the community, we have a group that is for beginners. And when I mean beginners, maybe you're overwhelmed by what is all this twin flame stuff. That is the Facebook group, Am I a Twin Flame 101? And Am I a Twin Flame is all one word, Facebook group. That is more for the awakening masculines. But it doesn't matter if you're a feminine gender or feminine energy. If it's still all new for you, come on in, get into the shallow end of the pool. If this has been your journey for a long time and you're like, oh yeah, I know about this stuff, but boy, it would be so good to have someone else that knows, or someone that thinks I'm not crazy. You know, it's like I've been to readers, I've been to psychics, I just can't figure out. I've been to relationship coaches. I'm just someone that doesn't think I'm crazy, and I just don't want to be alone anymore with what I'm going through. And come on over to a little bit more advanced group that is the I Am a Twin Flame Facebook group, and you won't be alone. And we know you're not crazy. And until the day where you are in union with your own twin, you work on your own issues together, you don't have to be alone. We help each other. So, Pam, any parting words?
Just thanks for inviting me to be a part of this. I have all the blessings, and to everyone being in a harmonious union.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I'm going to be putting out another video, hopefully within the next 24 to 36 hours after this one.